everybody, it's Catherine. This is the last of the projects for my 5 treat box kit, and it is the Playful Ghosts stamp set, and this time I'm using the Perennial Postage dies again. The box itself measures 1.5 by 6 by 1 on the side, and you open it up, and inside I have a bone pen. They're all different ones, but you'll get one of them with the kit. Okay, all different types of bones of the body. I thought that was a creepy thing for Halloween. And you could also fit some snacks in here with the pen. So that's a good it's a good size box. All right, so what we need for this project is a piece of old olive that is 8.5 by 5.5, some basic white. We need a rectangle of pumpkin pie that is 2 1/4 by 3, and then I cut this from the To Market Designer Series paper using the Perennial Postage dies, and it's 2 by 2 3/4. And I'm using the Season of Green and Gold Designer Series paper, 2 pieces that are 1 1/4 by 5 3/4, 2 that are 3/4 by 5 3/4, and 2 that are 1 1/4 by 3/4. Okay, let me get my Simply Scored. I will show you all the boxes at the end together. Okay. We're going to start on the 8.5 inch side, score at 1, 7, and 8. Turn it to the 5.5 inch side and score at 1/2, 1.5, 3, and 4. Okay, now fold and burnish your score lines. Now how I have this is there is a 1/2 inch rectangle, a longer one on this side and a shorter one on the top, and this side is a 1.5 and a 1 on the bottom. And this is what we're going to be doing. Alright, so let's start over here. And we're going to go to the first 2 score lines and cut them to the first score line. Then wedge both sides of the box. Of the square, sorry. And go to the next 2 score lines again and wedge this square. And then take a wedge out of the bottom of this long 1/2 inch rectangle there. Okie dokie. Now we're going to turn it around. The longest 1/2 inch rectangle is over here, and the other one is on the bottom here. Okay, so we're going to go to the first score line, cut it to the second score line, and wedge up into that 1/2 inch rectangle. Go to the next score line, cut it to the second score line, take off the rectangle and wedge the square. Go to the next 2 score lines and cut them to the second score line. Take off the rectangle and wedge the square. And then you're going to take these 2 pieces off. Okay. And then we're going to round the corners of this top piece. Okay, and that's what your cardstock should look like when you're done. Now before I put this together, I'm going to put one of the pieces that are 1 1/4 by 5 3/4 on this piece that doesn't have the flap, because I can't get my punch in there to cut the little grip circle out, half circle out. But if you have one of the nice small ones that I was foolish enough not to get, you can still fit it in. All right, so I'm going to put this on first, and then I'll cut my half circle, and then we'll put it together. Okay, I'm going to cut. Good. Okay, now we're going to get our tear and tape and put it on what's left of this long 1/2 inch rectangle next to the score line. Take the backing off. Okay, flip the whole thing over, flip over the side with the tape, and then the other side to meet it. And this seam here is the back of your box. All right. Now this is the back, sorry, and then we're going to just close it with some liquid glue. Okay, now we're going to put the rest of our DSP on. This one will go on the opposite side. These two are the long sides, and these two are the short sides. Okay, and that's your box. So I'll put one of these pens in there. Okay, now let's do our stamping. So we need Tuxedo Black Ink, and we're doing the Flying Ghost again, which is, well, I like this one and the one with the pumpkin the best. And the two little pumpkins, which I haven't used yet. Okay. And I already fussy cut them, so we don't have to worry about that. Alright, and I'm using a bunch of Stampin' blends. I'm using light and dark smoky slate, light and dark pumpkin pie, dark daffodil delight, light flirty flamingo, and dark old olive. All of these I write on my blog too. So let's start with the little pumpkins, and I'm going to use the dark first, and I'm going to go over the lines. And then I'm going to color over it with the light pumpkin pie. And then for the leaf and stem, I'm going to use dark old olive. Okay. All right, now for the ghost, let's use light smoky slate first. And I'm going to highlight under the hat. I'm just going to draw one line. And then I'm going to draw a line right from his neck to his hand, and then from his hand all the way on the bottom to the tip of him. Okay, and then I'm going to use dark pumpkin pie, and I'm going to do the patch and the band next, going through his buckle and also his cape. I forgot to do the little thing there. I'm going to use dark daffodil delight for the broom. You could make this black too, but I like it in the yellow. Okay, and then I'm going to use dark smoky slate for the hat and the broomstick. And the buckle I made yellow, the dark daffodil delight. And then last but not least, for the cheeks, I use Light Flirty Flamingo. And I also did the tongue with that. Okay. All right. Okay, now we have our piece of pumpkin pie that is 2 1/4 by 3, and our To Market DSP that is cut with the Perennial Postage dies. It's about 2 by 2 3/4, and I'm just going to attach those together. Okay, and then I'm going to put the pumpkins on the bottom over here with liquid glue. And then I'm going to cut up some dimensionals for the witch ghost. So I'm just going to put a side piece on the top of the broomstick so it doesn't get bent back. And then a mini dimensional on the head of the broom. Okay, I'm going to just put some regular dimensionals on the ghost. And I'm going to put him right like this, right above the pumpkins. Okay, now we need our box. Make sure which one's the front and which one's the back. And we want it with about 1 inch left on the bottom. But with this, I'm just going to take a pencil and just make a light mark on where I want some glue, so I know what lines to stay between. And then I'm going to put this about 1 inch up. Just going to glue it right on there. That way it stays the nicest. Is it right? There we go. Okay. Now for the final touch, I'm using peach pie ribbon, and it's about 18.5 inches to make a nice bow. And if you want to, you can put a glue dot behind the knot just to keep it in the spot you want it. I probably used a little bit less this time because it's a smaller tails, but that's okay. About the same. All right. And that is your last project. Now let me bring these. This was the first one, then the second one, the third, the fourth, and this one's the fifth. So all the supplies except for the adhesives and the stamp set itself and the Stampin' ones obviously are included. I will cut all the DSP for you and the cardstock, and I will cut out everything that needs to be cut for the box, and I will put a piece of tear and tape on the right side. Okay, and it will be $30 plus shipping. Okay, if you're interested, please let me know. Okay, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you and see you the next time. Bye.